Female reproductive system. The female reproductive system consists of a pair of ovaries, a pair of oviduct, uterus, cervix, vagina and the external genitalia located in the pelvic region. Ovaries are the primary female sex organs that produce the female gamete, ovum, and several steroid hormones, that is ovarian hormones. The ovaries are located one on each side of the lower abdomen, as you can see in the diagram. Each ovary is about 2 to 4 centimeter in length and is connected to the pelvic wall and uterus by ligaments. So we know that human body is a hollow body. So attachment of these organs with the lining of the body will be with the help of ligaments. They are also called mesenteries. Each ovary is covered by a thin epithelium. Now when we talk about ovary, the ovary is covered by a thin epithelium which encloses the ovarian stroma, and this stroma has a peripheral cortex and an inner medulla. When we talk about oviducts, we also call them fallopian tubes, and you can see the tube-like structure near the ovary, which is the fallopian tube. Now the oviducts, uterus and vagina will constitute the female accessory ducts, which will indirectly help in the reproduction as they are not having any role in the production of the gamete. When we talk about oviducts, they are 10 to 12 centimeter long. This tube-like structure you can see in the diagram and extends from the periphery of each ovary to the uterus. The part which is closer to the ovary, you can say, is having finger-like projection and funnel shaped, is called infundibulum. The edges of the infundibulum will possess finger-like projections called fimbria, which will help in the collection of the ovum after ovulation from the ovary. Okay, so you can see in the diagram on both the sides there are finger-like projection, they are fimbria, and they will help in the grabbing of ovum after ovulation into the tube. The infundibulum will lead into a wider part of the oviduct, which is called ampulla, and the last part of the oviduct is isthmus, which is a narrow lumen and it joins the uterus. Then you can see in the diagram the fallopian tube will be connected to a womb-like structure, a hollow inverted pear-like structure, and this is nothing but uterus, and it is also called womb. This is also supported by ligaments attached to the pelvic wall. Now the uterus opens into the vagina through a narrow cervix, and the cavity of the cervix is called the cervical canal. So you can see the cervix there, and the long tube-like structure which ends into the vagina in the diagram is called what? Cervical canal. The wall of the uterus, now when we talk about uterus, the wall of the uterus will have 3 layers. The external thin membranous layer is called perimetrium, the middle thick layer of smooth muscle is called myometrium, and the inner glandular layer is called endometrium. This particular inner layer, that is endometrium, will undergo cyclic changes, and we call the cyclic changes in this endometrium as menstrual cycle. And the myometrium, which is the muscular layer, it will help in the contraction during the delivery of baby or in menstruation. Now when we talk about external genitalia, female external genitalia will include mons pubis, labia majora, labia minora, hymen and clitoris. All you can see in the diagram, and this diagram is a sectional view of female pelvis. Okay, so you can see all of them, labia minora, labia majora, okay, vagina, cervix, okay, pubic symphysis, this you have already studied in 11th, clitoris and vaginal orifice, that is the pore in the vagina which is leading to the outside world. When we talk about mons pubis, it is a cushion of fatty tissues covered by skin and pubic hair. Now inside the mons pubis, the labia majora are the fleshy folds of the tissue which will extend down from the mons pubis and surround the vaginal opening. Now inside labia majora there are labia minora, they are also paired folds of tissue under the labia majora. The opening of the vagina is often covered partially by a membrane called hymen, and there is a presence of a tiny finger-like structure, clitoris, which lies at the upper junction of the two labia minora above the urethral opening. And which is a characteristic feature of female reproductive system. A functional mammary gland is characterized by all the female mammals. The name itself is given to mammals by the presence of the mammary glands they are having. The mammary glands are paired structures that contain glandular tissue and variable amount of fat. As you can see in the diagram, the fat area is also visible. Okay. Now you can also see in the diagram the ribs, the muscles between the ribs and the pectoralis major muscle and the attachment of the mammary gland. So there are paired structures, they are also called breast, that contain the glandular tissue which will help in the secretion process and a variable amount of fat. The glandular tissue is divided into 15 to 20 mammary lobes. So you can see that the glandular tissue will now be divided into mammary lobe. As you can see the diagram, the mammary lobes are present. Now these 15 to 20 mammary lobes containing clusters of cells called alveoli. These alveoli in the mammary lobes will secrete milk, and this is stored in the cavities of the alveoli. These alveoli will open into the mammary tubules. Okay, and now these mammary tubules will join and to form a mammary duct, and several mammary ducts will join to form a wider mammary ampulla, which is connected to the lactiferous duct through which the milk is sucked out. So this is the mammary gland. The basic important things in this is 15 to 20 mammary lobes are present, which is the glandular tissue. It is having clusters of cells which are alveoli, and milk is stored in the cavities of alveoli. Now these alveoli will open into the mammary tubules and they will join to form the mammary duct, and these several mammary duct will join to form a wider mammary ampulla, which will be connected to the lactiferous duct, and through this the milk will be sucked out by the infant. So this is all about the female reproductive system.